I was offered drugs on my way back home from getting groceries recently, specifically behind an Arby's dumpster, and of course I said no. Harvester, released in 1996, is what I imagined would have happened if I had said yes. A confusing, pointless, boundary-pushing video game that has a cult following for the pure reason that this game is insane for everything that happens. This is my best attempt at trying to convey the game's experience in as impossibly insane as it was playing it, while also covering what I like, don't like, and things I just think are cool. Cue the overdone edit if I can think of anything for this game. Now, you're probably wondering, Miss Emma, why is the game not fully zoomed in? And for that, my goonettes is simple. The game released in 1996 and doesn't know what a consistent window size is. You can also hear the music loop. Oh my god, you can hear the music looping. Which I eventually turned off because it was giving me a migraine listening to it, which also mutes all other ambient sounds. Independent sliders just didn't exist in 1996, I guess. Why does he walk like that? Either way, meet Steve, a guy who doesn't know where he is, doesn't know any of these people, and always was a kidder. He learns his own name from this random kid named Hank, supposedly our brother. He isn't important besides being an annoying little shit who likes cowboy cartoons. This is Steve's supposedly real mother. She's baking cookies by the hundreds of dozens, but more importantly, information. We're getting a job at the butcher shop our dad owns soon, we're engaged to another woman named Stephanie, and we just graduated. Which, to me, is really weird that you graduate high school and are already getting married. But I guess that's like a 70s, 80s raised game developer brain idea. It sounds so weird in 2020s. Now she also mentions the Lodge, which if it isn't clear is the main leading factor of the town. Respect, fear, control, brainwashing, whatever it is that it's gonna end up being, everyone wants to be in the Lodge, but it's very hard to get in. Can you guess what the main objective is? Right outside there's another child who I want to beat the shit out of, and his name is Jimmy. It's just a punchable fucking name. His entire purpose is to get the player a sense of routine for grabbing him the newspaper every day or chapter of the game, while also saying he wants sneakers. An objective! Let's find them. Or better yet, let's steal his. Oh my god, he's shooting me! Keep in mind, each time you die, you have to go from the main menu all the way back into the game, and there's no auto-saving. It's from 1996. Now you might be wondering how to get around, which, good news, there's a map with a missile base on it. What the fuck is this town? They're not even hiding the missiles, they're just out and about, as you can clearly see. They have a lady who is an actual wasp woman. She serves no purpose, you can kill her and literally nothing happens. Mr. Johnson is a perfect misogynist who loves his car. This is Daniel. He's the mortician of the town and rants to us about 3 different times about the amount of hobos that walk into town and then die. Why? Important to note, by the way, if you see a random blurring in the text box, that is because there's a slur. The game is from 1996, as I keep saying, and they just did not care. I bring this up because the firemen are extremely homosexual and are painting an almost fully nude man in the firehouse.
What the fuck? Steve, bet you don't remember me. Heard about that short in the old wiring. I'm Fire Marshal Sparky.
Hi,
head of
Sparky.
your fire department.
Thank you.
Isn't that right, Spot?
Why? Why the random 3-second cutscenes? Also, so that everyone is aware, every time a cutscene plays, the game's window size changes. It doesn't show up on the recording, it kinda does, but not really. But trust me, it's a lot more obvious when you play it.
Well, you've always been a kid, Steve.
This is the sheriff. He's very important to the story, plot, confusion. Something, at least. His cop buddy is a pervert similar to Johnson, but actively buys magazines with naked women in them from the general store, so much so he's banned. Subtle foreshadowing of what we have to go do. The next stop is the newspaper building that burned down. About half the residents have mentioned it so far, and everyone is kinda clued into the fact it was intentional. Edna's dinner is similar in that a gas fire is sure to happen with the lack of cleaning in the back. The sheriff beat us here somehow to talk to the woman at the front. That's Edna, because it's Edna's dime. She's neat, a bit uncomfortable due to Johnson, who keeps flirting with her, and she has a kid named Karen. These two are going to have a scene that I can't show on YouTube for the most part without massive blurring later. It's a violence thing, don't worry. And violence is shown at all the time on TV. Welcome to the news station, where the show that Steve's brother watches is recorded. And it's also the other section where a slur is said. Hooray! The famous cowboy dude at the start literally does nothing that I know of. He's just a rant about the overall purpose of the game of overly violent media doesn't change how people are. Heading to the school, you get to see the teacher beat a child with a bat. What? I'm sorry, huh? There's an air... Is she gonna beat someone's kid with a baseball bat?
If an A-bomb hits, what good is it gonna do to duck and cover?
Oh my god. She just killed a child.
Stars, that was exciting.
And Mr. Harrell, who heavily hints at touching students, the town being corrupt, and that you should respect everyone because you never know who has a higher status than you. The meat plant our dad supposedly owns butchers cats. I will not explain that one further. Do you think our mom has the dad chained up to the bed and is like milking him dry every night, and that's why he's sick, because he has to recover with like water and cooked goods?
Look, I'm not kidding about the amnesia. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, you always were such a kidder, Steve.
Now, do you remember when I mentioned this town had a missile base? Would you believe me if I said this has zero effect on the game and it's just a random side area? Would you also believe me that the general there thinks we're a llama? Yes.
I knew it. They won't leave me alone. Them and the kookaburras. 9! 9!
What? The barber shop has 3 nobodies, 1 who doesn't speak English and 2 who talk about aliens. That's what the missiles are for. Alien llamas. Llamas are also pretty blind, just like the blind lady in the post office, which is held by this guy, who copies a very limited amount of lodge applications. Steve will have to figure out a different way to get one. Or rob him. Do you like my segues? Because I'm really trying my best here while covering all the basic characters. The second to last stop is a general store that you can buy stuff at, like porn mags and lube. And finally, the lodge. The guy at the front projects his voice into your mind, which is uncanny. What a powerful individual. Just what is the lodge? Are they an all-powerful society? Did they make Steve forget his memories so they could bend him to their will? Use Steve for their plot. Make it so they'll have to get into the lodge for answers. There's only one way to find out. Let's get an application, baby. Feel free to put the comments what you think you have to do to get one. I'm a content creator, come on, you guys know how it is. After I explained Stephanie's family, because I thought it was the Wasp Lady's house on the map due to their placements.
Here he is, my future son-in-law.
I'm Mr. Potsdam.
And how's he doing today? What brings him to the Potsdam household, huh? Huh?
Oh, do you love meat?
Meat is the foundation of any decent society. Everyone needs at least 3 servings of red meat a day. And anyone who says otherwise is a commie. And once you're married to Stephanie, I'll be part of the family too. And your father will give me all the meat I want. Kind of makes up for not getting into the lodge.
Mr. Potsdam likes meat. This is literally half the plot. Miss Potsdam, on the other hand, has 0 plot relevance and just kinda exists. But 2 out of 3 Potsdam members mattering isn't bad. And Stephanie is the only other person harvester who also has amnesia. We both don't know why we're here. Were we both kidnapped, forced to do a marriage ritual for a cult town? And Steph is stuck in her room by her family so she can't back out of the marriage. Steve has to get both of them out by getting into the lodge. Also, small note, because I know most people here are degenerate, you can watch Stephanie change. For some reason this exists. No, I won't show it. I'm just informing you of it. Fuck.
What a thing to say to your mother. Was that an invitation now that your father is out of action?
I'm sorry?
You mind your mouth, young man. That's a fine way. Don't forget to put the papers out for Jim. Maybe later, dear. Right now,
What do
I
you
have
mean,
housework
maybe
to do,
later?
though you can watch if you want. Don't forget to put the papers out.
Okay. So to get into the lodge, you need the permit. To get a permit, you have to grab a quarter from your room, which you have to click twice on. For every single item, this is a thing. I don't know why, and it's really annoying, and I hate it. Head to the general store, buy the adult magazine, which is a perfect 25 cents, and hand it to the perverted police officer. This lets you examine the desk for a note and notebook involving bribes, and get into the Mac room for items that will come into play later. If I don't list something later, assume I got it here, or that I just forgot about it.
Hello, Steve. Where's Loomis?
You'll be coming around the mountain if you come. Oh, that's good.
Loomis, damn you.
Wait, no. No! No!
Lighting up the mattress again. Folding up the towels. Snake!
The main item you got is a bribery note to the officers to look over the arson of the newspaper building, which was done by the post office guy. Confronting the guy, he's all like, "Oh, you got me, but if you get me that gas can in there, I'll give you a lodge application." Oh my god, the gas can! You're so cool, here's access to the lodge. I hate TV. Go find out why. I have very normal summaries. As a TV station, there's actually a side room that I didn't know about previously that I kind of just stumbled around click into, with the owner sitting all fine and dandy. So obviously, the correct plan of action is to kill him. This is the only time in the game you don't instantly get arrested for killing somebody, mostly because he was in cahoots with the sheriff. Useless information now, because Steve has a lodge application. Let's go apply to the lodge. He'll instantly go, "We have 3 quests for you to do. Tee-hee, Stevie. Come back tomorrow to learn." Then a really weird-ass cutscene plays. Why does this exist? What's the purpose besides being weird? Do they want to show off their insanely large 3D render of the lodge? Is this showing that the world is actually a computer simulation, causing everyone to look low res, and Steve doesn't notice because he doesn't know anything else? Also, this plays after every single day and night segment for whatever reason, and it's kind of weird. Anyway, give Timmy the sneakers and he gives you keys to the school broom closet, which lets Steve take a photo of the principal and teacher making out for blackmail. Why does this game have 3 separate pieces of blackmailing so far? Even political espionage movies have less than this. We do, however, get the teacher's baseball bat, because we're a swinger. Which is good, because the lodge's first task for us is to scratch Jimmy's car. Nothing better to do that than a bat to pulverize the window. Now you might be thinking, so you just go up and scratch it, right? No. I die 3 times before trying other things. I even beat Johnson to death, which causes you to get arrested and instantly lose. Edna, I have a question for you. It's a real simple question, Edna. Do you need tampons?
Yes, that's very nice.
So the confusing thing about this game is that there's not a direct line for doing quests, but days that end once you do everything possible that day. Blackmailing the sheriff can be done before or after keying Johnson's car. I do it before because I can't figure out how to do the car, but you can do it after, which is kinda neat for a game from 1996. Also, why is the lodge guy in the death cutscene? To blackmail the sheriff properly, you have to go to the general store and use the copier to make more blackmailing stuff, which the sheriff then trades you for a get out of jail free card. This will probably include murder, like Johnson. Hey, I have my card. I have my card. You better let me go this time, you sucker. You rat bastard. You always were a kidder, Steve. We'll just say this is one of your pranks and Mr. Johnson was playing along.
You're under arrest for the murder of Mr. Johnson, Steve. Not...
What do you mean? It does not work on Johnson. There's also a hotel I completely missed, ran by the morgue dude. I do not remember when writing the script of if this had any importance, and I'm sure we'll all laugh later if it does. This is me recording the script after writing it and watching the rest of the footage. You get a ledger here that does nothing. But the actual way you get to key Johnson's car is by lubing the manhole cover wedge from the post office, then heading to the manhole cover in front of Johnson's house after nightfall hits. Nightfall descends upon... Oh, and now we break into his garage. Okay. And there's a weirdly cracked wall, which Steve's need to break with a shovel. My mind goes, the cemetery probably has a shovel, which leads me into finding Mr. Pottersdam digging a hole in a panic. That's kind of like how we have to break Johnson's car and get into the lodge. I accidentally use up the get out of jail free card when entering the fire station for trespassing. This brings up 0 issues later, making me think the item was optional, but I quite frankly, 0 idea. Now you actually get the shovel from the newspaper station. Can you find it on this screen? Because I could not for 5 minutes. But we finally raid Johnson's garage for items, including a pitchfork, a dolly, and successfully scratching the car. You can also view the tool bench. Can you see what you're supposed to grab? I will explain what later. The lodge gives Steve a new quest to steal from the firemen, which is why you can enter the station at nighttime. Hooray! Also, I've just found this extremely funny.
Nobody cares about a limp dick fat boy. Well, I'll make them care. I'll make them care.
Did you hear that Karen disappeared? Just goes to show you what can happen without a man's stewardship in the house.
This does give Steve the task of finding Karen, and oh my god, Panston fucking buried her, didn't he? And now I have a shovel.
Thank God I found you. Are you alright, Karen?
Oh my god.
I want to go home. Could you take me to my mommy's store? Or to the policeman?
Can you tell me who did this to you?
It was Mr. Pottersdam.
Told me he'd hurt my mommy if I told.
He won't do anything, I promise. Tell me what happened.
He made me play house. Then he dug a hole. Please, I just want to go home now. Please.
Can you tell me your address, honey?
I don't know. Just take me to the store.
Why would you not know your address? You can't even give me like a
Mommy
place of reference?
Mommy said to go to the policeman if I got lost. And I'm lost. Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, we saved her. 100% goes for a zombie. Well, I have a running theory based on lack of context clues and certain things that I'm pretty sure we're in like a Matrix situation where we're like getting harvested for a machine. So, wow, there's no way my guess with 2 to 3 hours of playtime left is correct, right? Anyway, Edna gives us $200 for returning her kid. Huge. And we steal her screwdriver. Buying out the entire general store, Steve moves the bookshelf out of the way in his house with a dolly we yoinked, turning off the alarm system. Now I think to myself, I can totally enter Dad's room by using the screwdriver on the window to get the meat slip signed to gain meat. Meat!
I won't share my meat with him.
I saw you bury her.
My meat!
And maybe we can get meat a different way. What? Hello?
I want you. Make love to me.
Back to the garage, did you figure out that what we need to grab? If you chose the little red thing, that is apparently a screwdriver, because the other screwdriver we have doesn't work on the window we need to open, you'd be right. I couldn't hate my life when I found this out. But probably not as much as our dad hates his wife, because what the fuck?
Now go, son. Go quickly, before she comes back.
Okay, I'm not gonna question what my parents are up to. But now Steve has the meat, which he feeds the dog in the firehouse to steal the curtains, fulfilling his second quest to the lodge, and finally gaining the third, stealing the barbershop pole. Ironically, also the only place we haven't really been yet. Woohoo! Tapping the window, earned from the general store, and breaking in with the axe, earned from the firehouse, Steve easily breaks in and uses the other screwdriver we have to yoink the barber pole. The fastest I've done a quest yet, and somehow, not the last. Rule of 3 my ass. We have to do 4. Burning Edna's diner down, which ends up being, how do we progress time by doing objectives because you already have everything and already set it up. Like taking a picture of a corpse to blackmail the morgue guy, 4th blackmail this game, to give us glue. Now the bake sale, with a hive mind of women who all speak at the same time.
Mercy, what a terrible thing to say. Isn't it, ladies?
Yes, terrible.
Yes, the cookies and goods are made from murdered hobos, and the entire reason this happens is so the game can have the post office guy burn down the TV station with every worker still inside it. Also, all the firemen killed themselves the day before due to us stealing their curtains, so no one is putting that out. Using the same tax axe combo, we break into Edna's diner to set it on fire, glue a cup over the fire alarm, then set a grease fryer. Of course, nothing in this town is normal, and the next day has this scene.
My goodness! What's wrong with her? My goodness! It's not as bad as it looks. You just pop them back in. See? As good as new.
We also received news that Edna hanged herself and her kid, which I won't be showing on screen due to, well, YouTube. I'm pretty sure this video is getting demonetized anyway. I'm not even monetized, but I have to care at least a little bit. Yes, it is a full-on cutscene with a note reading about why Edna decided to do it with voice acting and movement and everything that I can't show. I can, however, show this very end of it. What the fuck are you doing? She is... Stephanie, are you okay?
Guess I could forget about the meat, huh?
What do you mean?
Your dad must have pulled some strings. Be sure and check Stephanie's pillow, you lucky bum.
What the hell are you talking about?
You'll see once the sheriff gets here. Stephanie. Things'll never be the same now. Guess I'll be watching TV
Is
now.
Stephanie dead?
Okay, you can come in now, son.
She's dead.
My God.
Oh my god.
Is that what I think it is?
Yep, it's a spinal cord.
Is it...
Why are you eating still?
I can see a resemblance, but I can't be sure.
More pie, Sheriff?
Pie? Don't you realize what's happened?
Oh, indeed I do. I can just hear the tongues wagging at the PTA. Was it suicide?
Never heard of anyone pulling their own spinal cord out before. Off the record, I'd have to say no. No, all in all, I'd say this was death by natural causes.
Natural causes?
You can't live without a spinal cord, son. Nothing unnatural about that. Think I will have some more pie.
You've always been a kidder, Steve.
Right away.
I can't believe this. This is horrible.
Believe me, you get to the point to where this is routine.
Did they bake her into the pie?
Now the only clue we got is that card on our pillow. Take a look at it.
The harvest. The lodge.
This is practically a confession.
Confession to what, son?
Murder. Isn't that what you're here to investigate?
Son, you don't investigate natural deaths. No point.
Then I'll get to the bottom of this myself.
Yeah. I'm sure you will.
More pie, Sheriff?
Don't mind if I do.
So Stephanie's dead. Oh well, let's take the card from Harvest, who runs the lodge, and turn it in.
The invitation was not the card, but the spinal cord. It must be presented to me ere I allow you to enter.
What is wrong with this town? I haven't mentioned it, but the cemetery actually has a crypt specifically for the Monsterdam family, which is really suspicious that the only other family with the "where are we" person has the crypt we need to enter. Using a ladder I got from somewhere, we break in through the roof. Oh my god, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Now with the spinal cord, let's venture into the lodge. Ah. Okay. What? Is that a butthole? Welcome to whatever the hell this is. The lodge has an infestation of murderous beasts and eyeballs. Honestly, I had zero idea where to go and kinda just went forward until I got out. It worked. I have zero words for this section of the game. Even the dedicated fans, harvesters, lodgers, whatever they're called, say the lodge section is drawn out and overly long compared to the rest of the game. Which, yeah, it is. Like, you find a clone of yourself after drinking a beer, rob a register, kill a bellhop guy for a shotgun, open a coat rack for a bunch of shotgun shells and a scythe, find the same actor playing the butcher guy as the place's chef. This place is ran by cannibals. There's this office space that literally offers nothing. What even is this alien creature? You have to toss meat into the sewer to appease a weird tendril monster thingy. Meat was gained from the kitchen. To loot the meth room for weed killer to kill a mutant plant. And that's floor 1. Now let's play the game again. Can you find what you're supposed to grab in this image? What am I looking for? Well, hope you can see this very, very, very small key, which you then use on this small hole that I had to click 3 times with the key to work. I hope you're losing brain neurons at this point, because I sure am. Demon, 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 kill it, kill.
Welcome to the Harvest Moon Art Gallery, sir. I'm the curator of this place. So delighted
Thanks.
you could come.
The art gallery section is a play on what the game is actually about, being a violence in video games don't make people violent and what art is supposed to be, and regulations shouldn't impact art. That is the entire point of this game, which, you know, is a good point. Art is meant to impact feelings and thoughts, and video games are art, even if they're a lot more fun than staring at a painting. I don't think that saying, in a game with shitty controls, terrible gameplay, and the 1996 jank of everything else was a great idea. Either way, Steve blasts a hole into the chessmaster's head, kills a janitor for his nail gun, kills a clown for his chainsaw. If you're noticing the number of murders ramping up, no you don't. Kills a shadow demon, randomly guesses a puzzle, fix a gas leak, kills an electrician, then burn alive. Fix the gas leak again, kill the electrician again, cross the lava this time, don't die to the stealing of flagpoles, and welcome to the multiple rooms of sin, or whatever. Watch a guy stuff his face full of food, watch children cannibalize their mom, then kill said children. Yes, there's an actual cutscene for them eating her, I don't know why. Successfully do a quiz about Brazil, find a room of dead people, kill a random Marine with PTSD, and then the best scene ever. Did you ever try to fuck your mom?
Welcome to the Temple of the Mystery of Flesh, Steve. Have a bite?
Mr. Potsdam?
Oh my
The
god.
mystery is this.
You
Sometimes
bastard.
you have to lose some meat to get some meat. They wouldn't let me in until I demonstrated my worthiness. My invitation came after I buried Karen alive. That showed initiative.
And her spinal cord was your ticket in, right?
Yes, But to be initiated into the mysteries of the harvest, I had to do one last thing. I let them into the house and into Stephanie's bedroom. Sometimes you have to sacrifice meat to gain meat. The Order taught me that. Now I am a butcher. You should have gotten your dad to hire me on. That way, you could have been the boss, instead of the prime cut.
What? He looks like the main guy and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Alright. Rip Stephanie's dad, I guess. Immediately after this, I get an STD, kill a dominatrix, and beat this man on a table who plays a cutscene every time you hit him. And remember when I said the window changes dimensions whenever a cutscene plays? It's really annoying. Steve then blasts a blind guy's head smooth off and I get to make a choice. Kill 2 elderly people or try fighting the gladiator. I do not suggest trying to fight the gladiator. I also do not suggest trying to use melee weapons in this TV room, because how does Steve take 6 revolver shots to the face and live otherwise? Hello.
Welcome to the inner sanctum, big guy.
Principal Harrell?
Within the inner sanctum, you will address me as Vice Muck Harrell, second in command to the Grand Muckety Muck. Here of the Fez and Buffalo Ham, the secret handshake, the funny passwords. Only fitting, given that my role has always been that of an educator, and Harvest is one big classroom.
What do you mean? You'll have to kill me to find out what he means, big guy.
What? At this point in the game, you're probably thinking, Emma, are you okay? No. I have a headache from the bad audio design, my brain is melting from my ears, and chat is equally confused about what's happening. I need therapy. Now for the end, Stephanie is alive, and Steve learns that the entire world is a simulation. Holy shit, I was right, fuck yeah. Meant to make a person more violent slowly by causing insanity from the weird town, turning them into a serial killer. Steve can either kill Stephanie and escape the simulation to become a serial killer or a harvester, which they're dubbed, or marry Stephanie and live in the world until they both die, which would be in 5 minutes, but to them feel like a lifetime. Either way, this is to reiterate what I said earlier during the art museum. Harvester is a weird, messy, artistic game about how violence and sex in video games doesn't corrupt minds and doesn't need to be banned or overly regulated. This game released in 1996, and one of the hot topics of the game was the rising video game industry, especially how they rot the youth with their gameplay. Hell, this is still a conversation in 2026 for whatever reason, with the government trying to quote-unquote crack down on the video game media and its easy access to kids. In some regards, it's kinda needed. Gambling is pretty prevalent in most young titles, which was also supposedly made a thing by that New York financer, so that's telling. Especially since that's the part the government does not focus on, and instead they choose to focus on what Harvester does. Violence and sex, which is literally on the label for what a video game offers. And why are parents not doing research into what their kid wants to buy? That's ridiculous, and the government shouldn't have to stand in for that. I just wish the game that tried to be artistic about it wasn't Harvester, because this game is bad. Clunky controls, terrible writing, the audio actively gave me a headache. It's just a bad game. But god, is it funny. The live action implementation is honestly cool, and hey, I personally enjoy Roadrunner cartoons.
Roadrunner cartoons. Roadrunner cartoons?
What? Did he eat Steph? Thanks for watching. Here's what I would put YouTube members or whatever, but I'm not currently monetized and I'm making this video in February. That's telling about my work schedule. So instead, I'd like to recommend a YouTuber named Pixelbush. His main content is Dead by Daylight lore videos, but he's slowly branching out into a variety of videos at the time of writing this script. His YouTube will be linked below, and hey, tell him I sent you if you want to. As for me, well, I got to Requiem some residents. Look up the definition of that word before you comment on it.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve.
You always were a kidder, Steve.
Most people ask me why I don't remember their names.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Well, you always were a kidder, Steve.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve.
Shaw, you always were a kidder, Steve.